Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So I'd like to introduce on the screen Congressman Don Bacon, who's joined, thank you. He is our current, he's one of the Baltic Caucus co-chairs in the United States Congress. Congressman Don Bacon joined the Air Force in 1985, 30 years of service, achieving rank of Brigadier General. Elected to Nebraska's 2nd District in 2016, one of the strongest voices for U.S. strength and defense on the House Armed Services Committee. Always willing to stick to his principles, he has consistently stated the moral and security imperative to support Ukraine. He understands the friendship of Baltic allies. The Baltic Caucus has 90 members of both parties, and it's a co-chair, so it has a Democrat chair and a Republican chair. So it's a bipartisan caucus, which was founded in 1997. And BAFL is proud to support the erection of the caucus with bipartisan support, starting with Representative Shimkus, John Shimkus out of Illinois, and Dennis Kucinich out of Ohio. Okay. So Congressman, we just wanted to let you know that we had a unanimous board decision to present you with the Baltic Defender Award to Congressman Don Bacon. His support for the Baltics is unparalleled, including security initiative since 2020. Thank you for your service to our country and to our allies of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Congressman, to our allies of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Congressman, to our allies of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Congressman, to our allies of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania.
I hear some echoes, but I guess you want me to make a few comments? I'll make a few comments. First of all, thank you very much. I don't do this for an award. I do this because I believe in NATO. I believe in defending freedom. I believe in helping countries that want to have free trade and rule of law thrive. In NATO, I believe. I've been to the Baltics 4 different times, and I've come to love the people. I know all 3 countries are unique. They have their own language, their own history, their own culture, and I've enjoyed getting to know all 3 of them. But on top of that, I know they have a common threat, so we work together as a team. And so I bring that to the table. But thank you for the award. As I mentioned, I don't do this for the award. I do it because I think it's right. I love working with Sully Carbajal. He's our co-chair. He's the Democratic co-chair. Him and we're best of friends. We've traveled all over the world together. We don't always agree on some domestic issues, but we agree almost across the board on foreign affairs and national security. And he's a great partner working together on the Baltic security initiatives. And John Shimkus was the guy who got me involved. He's from Illinois. I was raised in Illinois, joined the Air Force, ended up out in Omaha, Nebraska. But John Shimkus asked me to replace him because he said he noticed I had a natural interest in the Baltic countries, and he said, you show up even when you're not in charge, so that means you're gonna be good at this when you are in charge. So I ended up taking the reins from him. I first traveled to the Baltics in 2004. I was a lieutenant colonel as part of the National Defense University, National War College, and I'll never forget a phrase from one of the ministers of defense. He was welcoming all of these lieutenant colonels and colonels in here. It was joint services, so from all the different services. And this minister of defense goes, "Who's the most pro-American person in this room?" Well, we're all looking at each other because we're all, like I said, Air Force. I've been there with Army and Navy and Marines. We're all looking at each other. And he goes, "Well, it's me. I'm the minister of defense. I'm the most pro-American guy in this room." Now, I never forgot that. And what I really took away from my first trip, but also I'm a student of history. I know what happened with, in World War II, then the occupation after World War II. But the the Lithuanians, the Latvians, the Estonians love freedom, and you can see it. And after the Berlin Wall fell and the Soviet Union dissipated, and a lot of our countries got their freedom, such as the Baltic countries, some countries took a long time to rip that Band-Aid off, or it was a slow rip of the Band-Aid. All three countries here immediately embraced the free market system, embraced democracy, embraced rule of law, embraced wanting to be in NATO. And you could see it when I traveled there in 2004, and it's just stuck out. A lot of the folks there were more free market oriented than most Americans, which I appreciate. There were more Milton Friedman with the people I talked to. They knew Milton Friedman better than most Americans knew Milton Friedman. I'll just put it that way. And it was impressive. If I may also say, I'm always proud of what our country did after World War II. When the Russians or the Soviet Union occupied Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, we didn't never recognize that. We did what was right. We knew that the occupation was wrong, and we hoped for a day where all three countries had their freedom. I remember this, and I think of Ukraine today. We have some of our leaders say, well, Russia's more powerful, and it doesn't make sense to resist them for Ukraine's perspective. I'm glad we didn't do that with Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia in 1945, that we stuck by the people for the long haul. We didn't know it was going to take like 5 decades to get fixed. But we should have the same mindset towards Ukraine. Ukraine is only 1/4 the size of Russia in population. But they're fighting for their freedom. They want to be aligned with the West. They want free markets and rule of law. And we should stand by them in this process. And I know this is very important to all three countries of the Baltics, because they know the threat of the Soviet Union or the Russians. And they know if Ukraine falls, the threats towards all three of them get heightened significantly. And I know that. I do believe that the Baltics are the most pro-freedom countries I've ever visited. And I love that about them, and I'll always cherish that. And we know that in meeting with all three countries, I am an advocate for American presence and also encouraging more NATO presence, not just America. And my goal, and I think Salud Carvajal's goal, we've been wanting to have at least a division-sized force in the Baltics. Not just Americans, though. I mean, a mix. Some American, we got to have some American force, but we need about a division-sized force of NATO countries working with all three nations. And why do we want that? Because that provides deterrence. We want Russia to know, you go into Estonia, you go into Latvia, you go into Lithuania, you're creating war against NATO and America, which is part of NATO. But I want them to know it's not just NATO, it's clearly Americans with our boots on the ground there. It's a war against us as well. I've been an advocate for increasing the air defense capabilities in all three countries. This should be an integrated air defense where you have battalions in all three countries, maybe a brigade headquarters in one of the three with a common sight picture with radar. And it should be a layered defense, not just short range, but it's got to be long range as well, with some short range support. And that's the only way to really defend all three countries. We know that Russia, if they are having a hard time on the ground, they will use bombing via bombers or fighter jets, but also using drones and ballistic missiles to attack. And we have to have the capabilities to defend against all of that. Not that we want to ever use it, but we want to do this because it's a deterrence. We also know that all three countries need long-range artillery or long-range precision fires, primarily the ATACMS type capabilities. Russians must know that they're held at risk at 100 miles away or more, so that also provides deterrence. So I've been an advocate within the Armed Services Committee for these capabilities, for this deterrence, and I think we're making a slow headway. I also acknowledge that all three countries can't afford a long-range air defense capabilities like this, so NATO needs to step up and help fund this long-range capability, and that's the surest way to prevent hostilities. If we don't do this, the Russians see vulnerability, and I think they act when they see vulnerability and weakness, and we can't let them see that kind of weakness. I got to tell you, when I travel in all three countries, I feel so at home. Even though we have a language difference, I feel very comfortable walking around all three countries and the capitals. And I have to admit, I am struck when I walk out, like, for example, just one comes to mind. When I walk outside of Tallinn, of our hotel room, there's this building with a government building, and it was built in the year 1410. And I'm like, that was before Columbus, right? It just astonishes me. You know, America's an old building here. I lived in one of the oldest houses in my county when I was growing up. I was 100 years old, right? I mean, we just don't have any idea of what old is when it comes to architecture and buildings. I really enjoy and cherish my times in all three countries. And I plan on going back with Salud Carbajal in this Congress. And I've always tried to welcome the prime ministers or presidents, the ministers of defense, when they visit Washington, D.C. I've had dinners with many of them, or if not, we do a breakfast and invite other congressmen to hear their perspective. And I'll just close on this. I know Ukraine is in our national security interest that remain independent and aligned with the West, free. I know it's even a bigger strategic interest for Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, and the Baltic countries. And this is something that we share. Again, thank you for the recognition for the Baltic Defender Award. I'll always be pro Estonian. I'll always be pro Latvian, pro Lithuanian, and I look forward to going back many times. So, and I look forward to going back when I'm not a congressman. I like to enjoy myself and spend some vacation days there, not just work. But thank you so much for the recognition. I yield back. I apologize. I can't hear anybody right now, but I know you're saying good things.
Okay, Congressman, can you hear us?
Yes.
I'm on mute on the laptops. Congressman, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We'll give you the award when we laptops. Congressman, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. We'll give you the award when we laptops. Congressman, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great.
All
right.
We'll give you the award when we laptops.
Okay.
Can you hear us? Yes, I can.
Okay, great.
All
We'll
give you the award when we laptops.
Okay.
Can you hear us? Yes, I can.
Okay, we have one more award.
Stylish. Got 'em all wild. Stylish. Got 'em all wild.
Okay, we good? Okay. All right, so, okay, we good? We have a special guest with us, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so. Ladies and gentlemen, I need everyone's attention. This is a very important moment. We have a special guest with us, ladies and gentlemen.
You need to mute that
All right,
one.
so, ladies and gentlemen, I need everyone's attention. This is a very important moment. We have
Just the
a
computer.
special guest with us, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
need to mute.
There you go. Thank you. We have a very special guest with us. As if most of you watched the news, we had an unfortunate accident that happened in Lithuania last month. And we have the family of Staff Sergeant Edwin Franco with us today. And our hearts and prayers are with you and your family, as we know that he was a good man, because not only did he fight for the United States, but he fought for Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania in the same manner. In solemn recognition of the profound sacrifice made by your beloved son, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Edvin Franco, who lost his life during a NATO training mission in Lithuania, we extend our deepest condolences and unwavering gratitude. His commitment to duty and country exemplifies the highest ideals of service. Though his life was tragically cut short, his legacy endures in the hearts of those he served with and the nations he protected. To his widow and young son, and to his devoted parents and extended family, we offer our heartfelt support. May you find solace in knowing that his sacrifice is honored and remembered. As a Gold Star family, your loss is a solemn reminder of the cost of freedom. We stand with you in mourning and in remembrance, forever grateful for the heroism and dedication your loved one displayed. With deepest respect and appreciation, Baltic American Freedom League Board of Directors, we present to you the Shield of Unity Award. Get that in mind, you have, we'd like to call you up as well.
dear Franco family, dear Don Bacon, Representative Bacon. So just wanted to, again, on behalf of Lithuanian people, on behalf of Lithuanian military forces, on behalf of all of the population of our country, but also the country of the Estonia, Latvia, and really just wanted to show the appreciation and for what your son has done. He's been serving in defending democracy, defending freedom for America, the allies. And this, for the memory of your son will be forever remembered. And again, thank you. For both of our countries.
Sorry, you want to say something?
We got this here. Also, from the American Legion, Baltic Post 405 in Los Angeles, we have a declaration of condolences, appreciation, and honor to the family. American Legion, Baltic Post 405, Los Angeles, California, joins in union with General Christopher Donahue, Commander of the United States Army, Europe and Africa, and Commander of Allied Land and Command, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, in respectfully extending prayers, thanks, and condolences to the families in honor of accident on U.S. soldiers, and credit these U.S. troops and their Lithuanian hosts who labored in their recovery with urgency, resolve, and deep respect for the fallen. And we have on here the 4 names of the fallen soldiers: Staff Sergeant Edwin Franco, Staff Sergeant Troy Smith, Knudsen Collins, Staff Sergeant Jose Duenes Jr., PFC Dante Faitano. General Christopher Donahue thanked Lithuania, Poland, and Estonia for their deep support. This is a tragic event, but reinforces what it means to have allies and friends. May our soldiers rest in peace. Amen. Thank you. Great. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Hello, everyone. From our family, Franco, we wanted to say thank you to Lithuania nation, Latvia, and Latvia, and nations from narrow nations, Poland, even Germany too, that they were working all together just to bring our soldiers back. And I know this is a difficult time for us, but we also know, and it makes us proud that our kids, they have in their heart, to serve the country, to serve, for freedom. And so that's the only thing that we can say that makes us proud. And we appreciate everything. And also we appreciate tribute to honor, not only our son, but the 4 soldiers that were together. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Congressman, did you have something to say? You're still joining us, right?
Yes, I'm still there, and my condolences to the family.
Oh, he's on.
I'm so sorry that you lost your son, family member, and our hearts and prayers from all 330 Americans are with you. And we just pray for God's comfort. We also we'll never forget that folks like him defend this great country, and we can't defend our country without people willing to serve and train. And so our hearts are with you, the whole family. Thank you.